Back into the show. It's 12:14. We'll continue our breaking news coverage about the sentencing of Vance Boelter. We have new details just into the newsroom a few minutes ago. We now know he'll face 2 life sentences plus 40 years. The Bureau of Prisons will decide where he'll serve it after Boelter requested to be moved to a facility down in Florida. We do have more details. We have Gordon Severson and Audrey Russo live outside of the courthouse. So let's get to them. They have more details. Hi, guys.
Cece, that sentence was exactly what was agreed upon in the weeks leading up to today. Now, Gordon was in the main room while it was happening. You were there about an hour before the proceedings started. Tell me a little bit about what the mood was like in the room.
Well, everyone was kind of preparing for this, and it was, a lot of conversations. There was close to 200 people in the room, but the moment that Senator John Hoffman walked into the room, all the conversations stopped, immediately went quiet, and that was kind of the tone for the next, 2 hours as we listened to 14 people share their victim impact statements, and we heard from several members of Mark and Melissa Hortman's family. We heard from their parents, we heard from their children, just some devastating stories about how this still affects them every single day. It was, hard to listen to for 2 hours just to hear how much pain was caused by these attacks.
And we know that, Vance Boelter had to listen to all of that as well for that same period of time. And he made a short statement after all of it was said and done. Tell me a little bit about how folks in the courtroom reacted to that statement.
Yeah, his statement, which I took, was just all he said was, "To every person I have caused loss, pain, heartache, confusion, sadness, shame, or loneliness, I'm truly sorry." Word for word, I think it's 18 words. That's all he said. He immediately tried to turn around to walk back to sit down, and the judge says kind of like, "Hold on, we have more to talk about." And they went right into the next part of the proceeding, so I don't think a lot of people really had a moment to react to how short his statement was. But right after it was over, you could hear people just breathing a sigh of relief, a lot of crying, a lot of tears. And so I think no matter what he would have said, people would have been, upset or would have had their own views, the same views they had going into that courtroom today.
Yeah, obviously a really difficult situation, a really difficult day in court, and we know that these proceedings are going to continue with the state's case. Did you get a sense of, I guess maybe aside from relief, did you get a sense that folks feel like this has been settled?
Well, there was a lot of different opinions from the family members. There were a few family members from Mark Hortman's family that had voiced that they were very frustrated that the death penalty was taken off the table. At least 3 members of his family said that they were disappointed with the federal government, with the Trump administration kind of blaming them for not allowing that to happen. But then there were other members on other families that kind of said, "We just want the highest sentence possible," which is what Boelter received. The judge at the end said that this was the longest sentence that he has ever given in his long career, which points to how serious this was. But I do think there were several people in that courtroom that feel like it wasn't enough, that really wanted to see the death penalty. Some people in the room wanted a trial so that more details could come out, and they maybe felt that with those details and that information about what happened may have brought them a little bit more comfort or a little bit more closure of understanding more about what happened.
And it seemed like every person who got up to speak noted the historic nature of what happened, losing a political couple to what appears to be politically motivated violence. So that's obviously something that's going to be a conversation regardless of whether there's a trial or not. And in this case, obviously there's not, but there's obviously a lot of emotion in the courtroom today. Cece, I'll send things back to you.
Gordon and Audrey, thank you so much for recapping that. Like you said, a lot of emotions today during this federal sentencing, and a few words from Vance Boelter. Of course, as you mentioned, still needing to go through that state sentencing. So we'll continue to, of course, follow this sentencing and the reaction from it. We'll let you guys get back to the courtroom.